Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna continue working on part 11 of this LC house. Let's get started. So in the previous video, we were able to add in our cabinet doors and now, and also the shelf for our fridge and our oven. Now we're gonna continue working on this by adding cabinets from our top cabinet. And then here, what we need to do is select that, edit. We just need to know what kind of materials that we added so that we could add it on the door. So now, what I'm gonna do is let's go to level 1, and this is already facing on this side, so we could just double click. And then we need to click on architecture again, model in place, and then generic model. And then we need to set the extrusion plane on the top. And then once we set it on the top, we need to click on rectangle, and the extrusion will be 10 inches or 10 millimeters, or sorry. And then the offset should be 10 as well, so that we have some gap. And then we need to pull it or put it in the midpoint right there, and then offset from the inner line. I want to see how much we have, so around 400 probably. I'm gonna retain that space, and then tab, copy. Then I'm gonna copy it from this part to this part. I want to make sure that 10 is consistent to all of them, so I'm going to make that one like that. At the same time, now that we have set one of them like so, I'm gonna copy it and base it from that gap so that we could just keep on adding. And then here at the end, I'm thinking of the end should be at this side instead. um, I know it's going to be harder, or we're going to manually move this one in the midpoint so that they have their both ends, so it's basically just decorative pieces at the end. So I'm just eyeballing it and then making sure it's in the middle. And then once we have that, I'm gonna copy it again and then put it right here so that we don't need to worry about the gap there, and then just slide this one right there. And then if we want to know the distance, we could just move this one and then set this one to 10. We're going to do this as well on the other side, so copy and then grab it from there. And we want to make sure that it maintains 10, and then this one should be 10 as well. So let's put some gap, move this one to here so that we could set the gap to 10 again. And that's how we added our cabinet doors in front of this. And then at the same time, I'm going to edit this, because what we're doing right earlier is in the earlier video is we're just adding um, the face or the cabinet face. But now I think we could do is I'll show you at the same time creating a void extrusion onto this face. So I'm gonna select this face that we just created, and here I'm going to put in a rectangle with an offset. So here extrusion edge -5, and this one 5. So let's see if this will extrude this one. I believe I did it correctly. And then this offset should be around maybe 50. Let's see if 50 is good enough. So I think 50 is good enough. So we're going to maintain that extrusion all throughout this cabinet. And then let's see how it looks right here with the same gap. And then click on finish. I'm gonna click on cut geometry, and then we're going to look at it at 3D to see how it looks. So that looks modern. That looks much better. Just a simple 5 millimeters makes a big difference from the extrusion, and it looks much better. So we're gonna do that all throughout, but let's focus on uh, this side and then the other side first, and then we're gonna deal with the one in the bottom. Right now, let's do it again. Model in place, generic model. Let's do the extrusion, pick a plane. We're gonna choose this plane, but here we need to change this again, 0. Then this one, 10. And then this one should be semi-glossed. Let's see if, yeah, maple semi-gloss. We still have it there. And then we're going to do the same thing. Extrusion, offset with 10 and going from the inside. And then as you can see, we could set this one to 400, and we're basically going to mimic what we did on the last. And then copy this one again. We could copy multiple. I believe we did 4 and then 2 at the each side, but a smaller one. So I think we did that correctly. Let's just copy this one. Copy it to the end, move this one right here, and then escape, and then move this one to here so that we could have the offset that we want. We could copy this or just copy this one instead so that we could have this one already done, and then just quickly move this one right here, and then selecting that and moving the temporary dimension, and then that's 10 as well. So click finish, and then don't click finish yet because we need to void this extrusion, and then select this plane, and then do the -5 and then 5, and then rectangle, and then 50 offset, and then we're going to offset it through the inner, and then click on finish, and then you can cut geometry and finish again. And the way it looks good. We're going to do the same thing right here, but just basically adding some grooves and same thing. But let's finish the one on the bottom as well. So we're already here anyway. Might as well select the door again. You need to edit in place that door because we will void it in the in place edit. Once we're here, we need to create and then void extrusion again. So we need to pick the plane that we want, that we edited, and then now we need to set the constraint, which is -5 and 5, and then the offset. And then now we just need to add all of the screws right here. It's much faster now because we know and we already set everything all together. For this instant, it's gonna be hard because if you know um, these screws are different. So let's try and do it here while in the 3D phase. So right here and select it right there at the end. The problem with this one is it's too small, so it doesn't let us do it. So we need to cancel, and then instead of 50 on the side, we're going to manually change it just because it's too small. So let's set it to 50 first. And then move this one on the side. And then let's go to 3D to see how it looks. So we could move this one at the side as well, mimicking what we have. At least top and the top and the bottom, it's good. The side is the one that we need to just mimic. Then cut geometry, and that's how it looks now. So that's the only problem that we have there. And then we have another section that is already here. So we could just select that again, edit in place, and then select the void extrusion, pick a plane, which is this plane, and then now set the conditions, the offset and whatnot, so that to be consistent. And obviously we're going to have a problem at the end because we need some space there because the line is too small and Revit cannot deal with that. And then we're going to deal with that in 3D so that we can visualize the space a lot better, and then we could just manually nudge it in place. I think this one is good enough. In this side, we could just manually add this one right here, and then click on finish, and then cut geometry, and then finish again. So I know it's not exact, but it will do for now because of the limitation that we have there. And then let's flip this to the other side so that we could finish off this side as well. So we need to select that, edit in place, and then select void extrusion, and then we need to set, pick a plane, which is this one, and then now select this to have 50, and then do that all together again. And then the only problem is on this side, but we can manually do that for sure. Let's just give it some space, and then let's do that in 3D. And obviously this one, we put it too much there, so we're going to manually add some spacing, and then obviously we're not going to add too much space right here. And then see, finish, and then cut geometry is already set. and the only thing that we need to do is adding some handles. So this is good, and then let's not forget to do this as well, because it's better to add some trims here. But I'm thinking of what kind of trim are we should do here onto this side. So before we add the handle, let's add this one first, edit this, and then let's go to section to see how it looks. And then what we're going to do is add, so we need to know the material first, and then we're going to add some extrusions, and then pick this one right here. Let's set this one to 10, and then this one is to 0, and then set the material to that, and then let's create a void and offset here. I'm gonna set that one right there, and then set this one right here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to extend this one a little bit, just because it looks, I think it will look much better if we have that one. And then let's just maximize the spacing, and then I'm just eyeballing this. And then obviously we're going to add another one right here. And I'm still thinking if this is the right move, because as you can see, once we have it right here, the look it will provide. So let me see it in 3D first to see how it looks. It looks good enough to be like this, but it doesn't feel that we need to add. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just delete this and then cancel this one right here, and instead let's just add handle. So let's go back here. It's going to be in the part 1 description of this video, probably the second link. And then once you have the link downloaded, just add in the drag and drop the handle. It's a face base, so you'll be able to add it on the face itself. So if we go here into our section, we can add it simply by just selecting that, and depending on the face where you add it, it will confirm itself. So here I'm just adding it right there and then right there. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to copy it to be consistent in terms of spacing, and then here CS again to add it on this side, and then add all of this slanted this way. I'm just going to add I want to have the midpoint of this. So I'm just going to leave it like this, copy, and then add it from every midpoint, and even here will be good. So I'm just adding, and you can see how simple it is to add the handle. CM again, spacebar, and then add it there. And then we're going to add it right about here as well. So copy, and then copy it as well here. And then lastly, let's go to level 1 again to flip this side. Double click on that, CM. Let's add it onto this side, similar to what we did on the other side, so that everything is consistent. CO, grab it there. And then CS again to add right here. And then CS to add it in the midpoint. And then CO to copy, and then to be consistent right there. And then let's check it out. That looks really good. Select this handle, and I want to change this. I'll leave it as a metal panel. And then this one, I want to double check steel polish. So those are the things that we shouldn't use anymore because we're using it right there. And then we could just have it like that now. In terms of this side, I don't know if we should add paneling, but I'll just leave it like this. I think this is good enough. I'm thinking of adding an extrusion part at the top, just to have something at the top there. But looks like it's good enough just to leave it hanging like that, because I always like to have it from floor to ceiling or something sticking at the top there. But it's just cabinet, so we could just leave it like that. And I believe we're done with the kitchen, and this one looks good. I wish we have more space to add um, an island in the middle, but that's how it is. So we could just move this one right here, centering it, and we could do something about this this space right here. I believe there's too much space that we could add in some cabinetries or pantries as well. So let's think about that in the later videos, in the future video. So probably in the next video we could start doing the second floor. So thank you for watching and hope you liked the video. Please hit like and subscribe. Feel free to comment down below.